Greetings, Exiles! It's that time of the year again when most people want to stay at home, snuggle up inside a blanket and spend some quality time with friends and family. But for most people it's also a time of stress and sleepless nights, because they're being concerned about the upcoming days and weeks while they can't wait for the great special evening to finally be here. You guys are correct, it's Path of Exile League Start time! No worries guys, I got you covered. And I will try to help you relieve some stress of researching builds and comparing them yourself. The only thing left for you to do is to choose which build you want to play at this league start of 3.9 Metamorphosis. I got everything. Characters that can face tank bosses and others that have the potential to one-shot them. Builds that are extremely fast and cause carpal tunnel if you're not careful. Abilities that kill everything including monsters that you cannot even see yet. Explosions that will cover the whole screen and leave nothing behind but corpses, and those builds that actually make use of corpses. Welcome again, everybody. I just finished reading patch notes and immediately created that list of my top 13 starter builds. I played all of them and I will include a guide for every single build in the video description. But since I didn't have any time to prepare, record, edit and upload 13 different build guides after patch notes got released yesterday, you will maybe have to wait for the new build guide videos to be released within a maximum of like 48 hours of this video going live. So still early enough for you to take a look and decide before the league finally starts. Let's go over my ranking system here. There are 6 categories in total. 3 of them are combat based and rank from 10 as the maximum to 1 as the minimum, and the other 3 categories are ranging from 5 to 1, meaning the total points of a build can be 45. The more points the better the build is. Spoiler, there's no build that tops 40 points. Enough talking, let's start with the first build. On rank 13 is my version of the Orb of Storms Assassin. Assassin is still amongst the most versatile and strongest ascendancies in the game. Orb of Storms went below the radar for quite some while and only really was used when leveling a new character. In 3.8 however, that changed. The build offers one of the fastest clearing potentials, especially in low to mid-tier maps, due to screen wide chains followed by Herald and Impulsar explosions. Everything you do while playing the build is fast except for killing bosses. Single target DPS is quite low compared to other builds in this video, but still enough to be able to clear the whole game on that skill. Both of the following builds got the same overall rating and thus are sharing rank 11. The first one is the Wildstrike Lightning Ascendant. This was the most fun build I have played in leagues. Strong damage, multiple screens, chain explosions everywhere, combined with high mobility make an exceptional map clearing character for any tier of maps. But since this is a melee strike build, it is very situational on bossing. As much damage as you deal, there's always a chance you get one shot in return. However, this can get countered with better items. If you want a build that's cheap to get and has huge damage potential, this is a good choice. The other build sitting at 28 points in rank 11 is the Cobra Lash Assassin, utilizing potent and long-lasting poisons to bring down all the content in the game. Problems on this build are actually the same as on the Ascendant I just talked about, low regen and evasion based. However, the damage potential is even higher on that character, especially once you get 1 or 2 seconds to stack up your poisons. The Cobra Lash Assassin is very easy and cheap to gear, the best choice if you want to start the league on an off-meta build. At only 29 points, one more than the ones before, there are 2 builds again sharing rank 9. The first one is the Icicle Mine Deadeye. Even though Icicle Mine received nerfs in 3.9, the Deadeye Ascendancy actually makes them way less impactful than the Saboteur. Focusing on chaining projectiles, this skill literally clears on its own. You don't even have to aim at enemies. There will be enough projectiles chaining around and even kill stuff off screen. Stacking mines before bosses allows for huge bursts of damage. In longer fights, the miner playstyle can get quite annoying and rough to play since you have to effectively stand still in order to deal your maximum DPS, which can be lethal against many bosses on this evasion based character. The second build at rank 9 is the multi-conversion Divine Ire Trickster. The whole build is about one-shotting things with multiple on-death explosions, ensuring fast clear speed on an otherwise clunky skill. The multi-conversion allows to get the most out of damage as extra chaos damage, and once you are geared above the starter gear, you will be able to one-shot every single boss within the game. You should check out my old build guide from Sinister's League, in which I'm talking about how to reach more than 100 million damage in a single shot. A big weakness is the damage inconsistency. If you do not crit or do not proc your Trickster extra damage ascendancy, then you will notice a big drop in damage. Coming in at rank number 7, again, 2 builds. This actually shows how close all my builds are. The first build with 30 points is the Lightning Trap Saboteur, which is also the first build I'm talking about that was in this list last league. Lightning Trap in combination with Pierce allows for screen-wide coverage. The playstyle is close to mine, but without having to detonate manually. This makes the build super fast in clearing maps without having to aim at enemies. The last fact is also true for boss fights, so you can focus more on dodging. But since you have to stand still to place your traps, you can get one shot on this evasion based build if you are not careful enough. The other build, which is placed comfortably in the middle at rank 7, is the Chaos Damage over Time Occultist. The combination of Essence Drain and Contagion makes for the best map clearing build with enough damage to even clear the nastiest tier 16 maps. Essence Drain also drains life from infected enemies, granting huge life regen compared to other spellcasters. The playstyle, however, is something you need to get used to, since you always have to use the combination of Essence Drain and Contagion to be efficient. Gearing can be expensive early on because to unlock the full potential of the build you really want to get a double sixling, so your Bane also wrecks enemies. Rank 6 is a build that has been played since forever, the Cyclone cast on crit Ice Nova Assassin. The Ascendancy changes made in 3.8 make this build stupidly strong and super hard to kill while still retaining the smooth playstyle of Cyclone. Being a cold based build lets you take advantage of huge chills, especially against bosses. The clear speed is still good, even though the Cyclone area got quite low if you do not invest into area. Gearing might also be a problem, since Cosprey's melees, your main weapon, is quite rare and the build has high popularity. The opposite to high popularity is the first build on rank 4, the Double Strike Gladiator. A combination of the extremely clear speed based Gladiator ascendancy and the ability to instantly leech back to full life, paired with a huge life and armor pool, makes this an excellent all-rounder. You can actually get tanky enough to face tank many bosses as long as you are allowed to attack while tanking. Gladiator's bleed explosions make up for the fact that you are using a low AoE melee strike skill. Even though being one of the best bosses in this list, the single target damage isn't something special. You still deal way more than enough damage to kill everything before it kills you. I think it's quite interesting that the best bossing builds are tied at rank 4. The second one being the Vortex Tank Occultist. I expect Vortex to rise to great popularity this league again because of it being one of the best bossing skills in the game. Double curse, defensive auras, huge chills, a lot of life and energy shield, whilst being able to focus on dodging while the Vortex lasts, make this build the perfect choice for new players who want to get into bossing. The clear speed, especially on narrow maps, is quite good because of the Occultist's curse explosions and the ability to place a vortex while moving without stopping. The DPS is not too much, but it is consistent, whereas many other builds have to stop DPSing to dodge certain mechanics. Following two bossing skills comes even another great boss killer, the Cyclone Impale Slayer on rank 3. Cyclone is still one of the strongest melee skills in the game. It comes with a huge utility as you are able to move while attacking. Impale is insane when it comes to single target DPS, and the Slayer Overleech literally means you need to get one shot in order to die, because you will simply heal back to full life. The quite low area means you need to get close to enemies, which can be dangerous when you don't know the fight too well. I started with this build last league and started carrying Shaper, Elder, Uber Elder, Mastermind and all the other nice bosses after day 2 on a 60 chaos budget. There's still huge potential in this build. Coming in at rank 2 is a version of the most played build in 3.8, the Strength Stacking Minion Army Necromancer. Even with quite some nerfs on zombies and minion builds overall, you will still be able to steamroll the whole game while hiding behind your minions. and even if you get hit on this build, the strength stacking allows for a huge amount of life and energy shield. However, if you do not take care of your minions, they can actually die, leaving you vulnerable to spells and attacks. Another negative aspect is the fact that the build at its base is strong, but to really shine you need some special rolled gear. And now finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, rank number 1. The Stormbrand Inquisitor. This build does it all. Brands offer a lot of utility since you can place them and then just walk around waiting for enemies to die, even though it doesn't take long for them to die. And Impulsas makes you clear maps faster than you would expect from brands. The Inquisitor Ascendancy enables you to not care about resistances on enemies at all, which lets you focus on even more raw damage and crit. Also, starting in 3.9, all enemies, especially bosses, will have more resistances. This is a nerf to every single other build that relies on penetration, which in return means the Crit Inquisitor received an extremely strong ninja buff. The only thing that always makes me nervous on that build is the fact that you do not have a good life regen. So if you get hit, it takes some time to get back to full life. And that finalizes my list. All my starter builds compared. Every build is viable, so if you do not like the playstyle of one of the top builds, you will still be fine choosing a different one in the lower tier. The Chaos DoT Occultist would be my first suggestion to somebody that wants to focus on mapping and some casual boss killing. Whereas if a new player asked me what to play, I would say try the Minion army Necromancer. The safe and easy playstyle makes it perfect for learning the game and the new bosses. For bossing itself, my go-to this league would be the Vortex tank Occultist, where you can focus on learning boss mechanics and won't get punished too hard for misplays. If you want a character, however, that can build up over the whole league, gaining tremendous increases in power with every new item, I would suggest take the Wild Strike or the Divine Ire build. And of course, if somebody cannot decide, just take the Stormbrand Inquisitor. You might have noticed that I did not include any bow character in my lists, even though it's supposed to be a bow league. If you trust GGG's balancing team, then bow skills will be completely overpowered, but since I can't be sure for 100%, I do not want to include those kinds of builds in my list. Also, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I did not have time to prepare new video guides for every single build yet. I will record and upload them within the next day or two. Check the video description for the links and maybe even written guides on every build. Soon. TM. Now it's your turn, Exile. Have you decided your league starter yet? If so, what are you planning? Was that video helpful? What would you like to see in the future? Sound off in the comments down below. If you liked that video, then leave a like to let me know and make sure to subscribe so you won't miss any of the other 13 build guides I'm going to upload very soon. Thank you all very much for watching and see you guys at League Start on my Twitch channel. I am Jay and I'm out.